Hello everyone, we will start today's class. So in today's class, we will be learning about the second part. If you remember, in the first class, I have explained to you the details of the syllabus where we had to learn the part one, which is story, the second part, which is script, part two, which is script, and part three, which is storyboard, right? So the story we have learned different aspects of story writing, how to develop the character, how to develop the location, how to plot development, how to develop the act divisions, dialogue writing, writing the story. We have learned all these things. You have watched a couple of lectures in the last week and on Monday's class. And that was a lecture by a very eminent foreign professor, and he have very nicely explained the different character developments, the different parts of the character, and how to actually develop a story for a film, right? And I hope you have seen the lectures properly. Those are very important lectures. If you have not seen them properly, I request you to see the lectures properly. It's very important for you. Now, today we will be learning about the second part, the part two, which is script. We will be learning about the basic definition of script, what actually we mean by script. We will learn about the act, scene, shots, key moment development, from story to script development, and different script writing techniques. So what actually we mean by script, we need to understand that first, okay? Now, we will also mention as screenplay. Basically, both of them in general are the same. There are some very small differences between these two words, script and screenplay, okay? Script is basically if you're writing any kind of a story that you want to see in a film or television or anything. Screenplay is particularly writing something for a film or a television show or a game or any other media, any other moving media. So screenplay is a written work for a film, television show, or other moving medias that expresses the moment, actions, and dialogues of the characters. Now, you need to understand this difference between the story and the script or screenplay. We will think of script and screenplay as the same. Okay. Sometimes I might mention a script, sometimes I might mention a screenplay. Do not get confused. Now, when you are writing a story, you're writing the story for reading purpose, right? You're writing a story, people are reading it. When you're writing, when you're developing that story for a film, okay, you want to make a film out of the story. How will you write it? How will you present it? Okay, that you do in a script or a screenplay, okay? For any kind of moving media, for a film or television show or anything, the written work that you are doing, the writing that you are doing is basically called a script. Now, for example, understand this very properly, okay? For example, in a story, you have written on a sunny day, Jack, a character's name, for example, Jack, on a sunny day, Jack went out to work. All right. Now, this is, you have written this, people have read it, and people can understand this very easily, right? On a sunny day, Jack went out to his work. Got it? But how will you show this in a film? think of it, how will you show this in a film? Now you have to show the sunny day first, then Jack, right? Then Jack going to his work, to his office. Now, how will you show that Jack is going to his office? How will you explain that Jack is going to his office? You might make Jack's costume a formal wear, right? When we are going to an office, we generally wear our formal wear. We wear a suit, for example, right? In a story, you can write, um, I am feeling hungry. Got it? So, for example, a character, Mark is feeling hungry. You can write it in a script, in a story, and everyone will understand what you have written. But in a film, you have to show that, right? You have to show that you cannot actually write. You know, in a film, you have to show that Mark is feeling hungry. How will you do that? That's a feeling. That's inside Mark. Mark is feeling hungry, right? Now, how will you do it? You can either make Mark tell a dialogue that, oh my God, I'm feeling hungry. Okay, so everyone will understand. Or without a dialogue, you might show the expression of Mark, right? That he is looking at some food, you know, or thinking about, or going to the kitchen and searching for food, right? Going to the kitchen and opening the fridge to, to search stuff, what he can eat. So you have to think, now that you have learned how to write a story, you have to think that how I can develop the story into a script. And reading that script, we can clearly understand that what should be done in a what we will see in the film, basically. Okay, so basically what happens in the movie industry is there is a director, right? Now there are actors, there are script writers, there are DOP, or for cameraman, director of photography is called cameraman, and there are hundreds of people working for a film. If it's an action film, there will be stunt directors, action directors, there will be VFX directors who will know what will be the VFX, right? All these things will be in a film. It's not a 2 or 3% job. It's 100 or 200 people working together in a film. Now, what happens there? The script writer prepares a script, either an original script that he have written, or adaptation of a book. From a book, he have made a script, and mostly the director is involved in the script writing process. Okay, and they will try to imagine the story that they will want to see as in a film. Again, I'm repeating this, and this is very, very important. A script will show you how the story will be seen in a film. Okay, it's a there is a sentence in a story, for example, that um, for example, I am feeling very tired. Okay, how will you show this in a film? You can make the character work like he is very tired, right? Or you can give that kind of tiring expression on the face, right? Or the character is telling another character that he is feeling very tired today. There are many number of ways you can show. The script will not mention that this character is feeling tired. No, the script in the screenplay, you will write how are you showing the character feeling tired. Okay, for example, there is a dialogue where this character is telling another character that he is tired. You will write that. In the story, you can write that this character is feeling tired. In the script, you will write this character telling another character, I am feeling tired. Got it? So the script or screenplay is specifically for a film or a short film or a animation movie or a television show or a game or whatever it is. Okay. It's when you are reading it, you should be able to visualize what will happen on the screen. Okay. If you're reading a proper script, you should be able to, imagine yourself that this is going to be happening in the film. Generally, what happens when the director or the script writer creates the script, the final script, they go to different actors to cast them in a role, right? They give the script to those actors. So the actor will read it, all right, and will understand how the film will be. So the script is, you can tell it's the blueprint for a movie. You know about blueprints, right? When you're building a house, right? Before building an architecture or building a house, you need to plan the whole house properly. Where the rooms will be, where the kitchen will be, where the bathroom will be, how will be the lawn, and not only that, what will be the size, how much meter, how much feet, what's the elevation, I mean, what's the height of the building. All the details will be properly given. So without that plan, the people who are making the house will be completely confused how to make it. They will not be able to make a house. Okay, so without a proper script, you cannot make a movie. So a screenplay or a script has to be written in a specific format. There is a format. In that format only we have to write a screenplay to distinguish between characters, action lines, and dialogue. How the character will behave, where it will be the location, what the character will talk. Okay, you can write in a story. You cannot, you may not write any dialogues. Okay, but in a script to express, like I said, in a story you can write Mary is feeling hungry. Okay, but in a script to show that, you have to either write mostly you will write a dialogue where Mary is thinking or talking to someone that she is feeling hungry. All right. So it has to be a specific, there has to be dialogues, there can be actions. Okay. So a script will contain everything that is seen or heard on screen. Whatever we are showing in a film, that in a written format is a script. Got it? A story is the overall thing. Story you can write just for reading. There are books, story books, right? That you can, you can read, but you can understand it properly and everything without seeing it in a movie or anything, right? But a script is specifically built for the purpose of making a movie, making a film, or making a television show. Okay, so script is, like I said, it's a blueprint. It's a basic first step towards making a film. Okay, story, of course, it's before script. All right, the script is developed from a particular story, but stories can be printed as a book format also. But scripts, if you just read a script, you can almost imagine a movie, but without making it into a movie, it's useless. It doesn't have a use. So scripts are the first step towards making a movie. Whenever a filmmaker, whenever a director is planning to make a movie, the first thing that he will do is he will make a proper script. Okay, which will include everything that is heard or seen, that's going to be heard or seen on the screen. Okay, so locations, characters, dialogues, actions, everything is included in a script. And from its first draft, of course, there will be they will write the script first, then there will be some revisions, then there will be some changes. All these things will happen. A screenplay tells a story. However, it is also a technical document which contains all the information needed to make a movie. Okay. It is a single most important document used and referred to by all cast and crew members. Like I said, if there are 100 members in a film, the 100 members will have a copy of the script. So all of them will know what is going to happen in the film. Okay. Today there will be few shooting, a shooting does take place for a period of time, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, I mean, based on what kind of movie or film it is. So in a script, when the script is given to different members of the crew, each of them will know, okay, this is going to happen. Tomorrow, this is going to happen. All right. This will be the total length of the film. This will be the today. There are set designers who will design a room or design a set. So reading the script, they will know in the beginning that okay, these are the sets we need to make. All right. There are VFX artists, VFX directors who knows that who will create all the effects, all the VFX in the film, and they will know okay, this kind of effect I have to give. I have to create. Sometimes, some Hollywood films which are made in America, in the USA, some parts of it, mostly the VFX parts, sometimes they are made in India or China. Okay, so there are different countries involved in making one film, and all of them will have the script. So even a person sitting in India will know what kind of movie, I mean, what the movie is going to be. So they will design the VFX, they will design the scene based on all those things. Okay, so it's the most important document that all the cast and crew member will have for the film. Okay, and it contains all the information, like I said, the location, the character dialogue, the action, and everything. All right. So to look into the script, this is the basic format of a script. All right. EXT means external. Okay. Suburban home. So this is one part. This is how a script looks like. I will explain each of this part properly, but this is how a script basically looks like. Okay. So here is the location. So you can understand that external shot. Okay. Not inside a room. So external, you are showing a suburban home at night time. So reading this, it's very clear what the location and the time, right? We open on modern suburban home. The shot is opening on a suburban home. The front window illuminated by the lights inside. So the camera is outside. The window is showing and there is the light inside the room, right? We see the silhouette of a small human figure as it runs back and forth. So we can see that there is a human figure who is running inside the room. Silhouette means just the outline, okay? We can see not the character in detail, but there is some characters who is running inside. We push in closer as we slowly see a boy running around the house. So when the camera goes in slowly, we can see that there is a small boy who is running inside the house, right? Next shot, internal means this is an internal shot. So this is outside the home. This is inside the home. Got it? Internal shot, suburban home, again, the same home. Now this is a kitchen shot. Okay, nighttime. All right. A green ball sits on a countertop. There is a countertop and there is a green ball. A young hand snatches it. He takes it. It belongs to Filbert, age 9, very lost in his own imaginary world. So you give the character name, the character description, dressed as a knight. He is dressed like a knight. A toy sword in his other hand. So when I am reading it, I will not go into the detail. Now this is a dialogue. Okay, voiceover. Voiceover, VO means voice over. Means, someone is speaking in the background. This character he's not speaking himself. in the shot, but he's speaking in the background. It's like he's imagining or thinking. So I will describe all these things in details and everything. But this is how a script is written. And when you are looking at it or when you are reading it, I guess you can almost see it. When I say external shot, suburban home, nighttime, you can almost see that at nighttime there's a home, there's a window, which is outside, it's dark. Inside, there is a light coming out of the window, right? Inside, internal shot, suburban home, kitchen. So it's just a kitchen is shown, again, nighttime. How will you explain nighttime? Lights are on, outside it is dark. Outside the window it is dark, inside it there are electrical lights which are on, right? This is the dialogue. So this is how we actually write a script. Okay, so I will explain all these things in details a little later. What are the things we need to write in a screenplay. So this is how what script looks like basically. Okay, it should explain, again, I'm telling, it should explain properly in detail how the film is going to look like. Reading the script, you can almost imagine each character, each situation, each settings, each location. You can read the dialogues very, very clearly. Okay. So any film project begins with script or a screenplay. Just hold on a minute. I'll drink some water, guys. So any film project begins with a script or a screenplay. Now there are two types of scripts, basically three types, sorry. A standard script, which is, you can write a script. You yourself now, you can write a script and you can actually take it to different directors or producers or studio, and you can, if they tell you some changes, you can change them a little and can develop your own script for a story or for a film. Okay, a spec script is written by a writer in advance with no solicitation, in hopes that it will be optioned and eventually purchased by someone who can turn it into a film. So standard script is basically, sorry, I just made a mistake in explaining this too. Standard script is when someone is telling you to write a script. Okay, a producer or a studio have told you to please write me a script based on this kind of thing. And standard scripts are written generally by well-known script writers. Okay, spec script is actually what I told before, that you don't have any plan of making any film or anything. You just write a script. Okay, you can also write a script now, and it's later it can be purchased by someone, or later it can be given to someone you can give it to some directors or someone who will make a film out of your script. Okay, so spec script is actually a script which can be written by anyone anytime. You can also write a script and later you can, by changing it, by developing it, later you can move to a producer or a studio or anything who can purchase and make it into a film. Standard script is basically told by a production house to a particular script writer that I want to make this kind of a movie, or you can write, please write me a script. This is my idea. You please make me a script. Okay. Adapted script is adapted from something that already exists in another form, like a book, a play, TV show, prior film or remake films, or even real life news story. Okay, so if you have a story and you are making you want to make a film from that story, there are classics, Shakespeare's play, for example, or you can write a script from a comic book. So you already have the story, you are making you're making a film. So you are adapting the story and changing it into a script. Okay, so there are three types of script: standard script, which is our original script, spec script, which you can write anytime. You don't have to make a movie now, but it can be later purchased by some director or someone who will make it into a movie. Adapted script is always like changing a story or taking from a story which is already existing or from real life events, right? And making it into a film, making it for a film. So as I told you before, script, it's a technical document. It's not only the blueprint of a movie. It does not only contains all the information about the movie, but it contains them in a specific format. Okay, so even if there are some changes from countries to countries, like there is a film industry in China, they also write a script. Everywhere script is written. Don't think that I'm only talking about some country's specific movie. Every single movie maker, director writes a script. Okay, that's the first step towards filmmaking. So even though there are some changes, some small changes from countries to countries or from scriptwriter to scriptwriter, there are some small changes in the script, but overall there are certain things which should remain in the script in any and every kind of script. Okay, so basically the script will contain 5 things: heading, scene headings, action lines, characters, dialogue, and parentheticals. These 5 things will always be in a script. Okay, like the format I have shown here, this is a very generic, and this is the mainly this is the format for a script, and this contains all these 5 things: scene heading, action lines, characters, dialogues, and parentheticals. You can see this here. Sorry, I'll make this picture a little big so that you can read. Slug line and scene heading are the same thing. Okay, we have different, or you can refer to this one. Right? So scene heading is the first thing, then the action, character name, parenthetical, and dialogue. Okay, these are the 5 things that have to be always in a script. I will explain one by one. What is scene heading? Scene heading is also called slug line, like I said. Both of them are the same. Don't get confused. See, all these terminologies, please remember, like I'm saying, script and screenplay, both of them are the same. You don't have to think about the difference. Screenplay and scripts are the same. If I'm talking about scene heading, I can also sometimes mention a slug line. Okay, remember this. Slug line means the same as scene heading. If in the exam I am writing, please mention the slug line. What is slug line? Don't get confused that, sir, you have not discussed about slug line. We have only learned scene heading. Both of them are the same. Whatever it's slug line is same as scene heading. All right. Now a scene heading tells us where we are in the world of the film. Okay. And what time of day it is. Right? The first thing that you are showing in a film is the location and the time. It's a city during a daytime. It's a room during the nighttime. It's on the road during the evening, right? It's on the sea beach during the dawn or early morning. So whatever you are showing in the in the film, first you are showing the location and what time of the day it is. That has to be mentioned in the first heading in the script. For instance, int, okay, remember this, I'll write it so that you can read it later. Int is in interior shot, okay, interior, which is inside a room or house, okay. Ext means exterior, which is outside, on a road or you know, any outside, any kind of outside location, right? Why it is important to mention interior and exterior? In every single script you will know that it is mentioned, you will see that it is mentioned as interior or exterior. It is because when the script is, as I said, it is given to all the crew members of the film, there is a person called production designer who, you know, who makes this, who are in charge of the set design of where the location will be, how the camera will work, and all those things. So he will know that, okay, exterior scene, okay, this is the location. I need to find a location for this. For example, there is an exterior beach scene, right? Sea beach scene. So, for example, in China, you are in Guangzhou, you are writing a script, you want to make a film. So you are writing exterior beach scene, right? So when people will plan for the movie, for the film, you know, you need a proper planning. So you will know that, okay, I can shoot in Shenzhen. For example, there is a beach in Shenzhen where I can shoot this movie, right? So immediately you will plan, okay, these are the days when I can visit there, because I have to catch a train from Guangzhou to Shenzhen. I have to talk with the police or other people there first to get the, you know, the permission for shooting, etc. Now, if there is a scene like interior scene, interior room scene, then you will know that, okay, I can shoot this in my dorm or in my house. I can shoot this in any kind of room, right? So you will have a proper planning before starting to make the film. That is called the pre-production, right? Where you need to fix up all the locations, all the places where you're going to shoot, where you're going to make the film, etc., etc., right? Even the cameraman or the DOP, the director of photography, he will know, okay, today there is an internal shot, so I need to use this kind of lens. There are different lenses for different shots, right? There's a wide angle lens, there's a zoom lens, there are 35mm lens, different kind of lens for the camera. And each of them are suitable for different kinds of shots. So when you know that there is an internal shot, the director of photography or the cameraman will be ready for it. The light people, because in shooting they use these lights, right? So they will know if there is an exterior shot during the daytime, I need to arrange for this kind of light. If there is an exterior shot during the night time, there is a completely different set of light that they need to arrange. Got it? So that is why this interior and exterior is very important to mention. And that is why the scene set heading or the slug line is mentioned at the very beginning of that particular scene. Okay. So for example, interior police station night. So you can know that this is an interior shot at the police station and during the night time. Okay, let the audience knows that we are on the interior of a police station at night. Scene heading should always be capitalized. This is the format. The proper format of how to write a script, again, we will discuss later. They may also be bolded and should always be in brief. It's not 5 sentences. It's just brief. As you can see in the example that I have shown you, it's just one single line. Interior, suburban home, kitchen, night. So you don't write two sentences explaining it. You just write suburban home, kitchen, night. How the kitchen will be, that's the work of the production designer. Okay, that's the work of the director in some cases. They will plan that, okay, based on the family, if the family is a poor family, the kitchen will be designed like this. If the family is a very rich family, there will be a modular kitchen with all these stuffs and everything, right? So you don't need to mention those in the script, okay? But just what's the location and what's the time. These two must be mentioned properly, all right? Some writers utilize a two-part scene heading. For example, interior police station, bathroom, night. This kind of slagline is commonly used in films that might have a lot of scenes in the same location, like a house, and is used to differentiate between the rooms. So here you can actually see, so the main thing is taking place in this suburban home, right? So I have some shots in the kitchen. I have some shots in the in my bed in the bedroom. I have some shots in the child's room, whatever. So you can mention suburban home, kitchen. So particularly the shot will be in a kitchen setting, right? If it's a bedroom shot, particularly if you mention bedroom, again the people will work to make a set design of a bedroom, right? So it has to be very clear, whatever the scene setting will be, scene heading will be, it has to be very clear to mention in detail the location of the scene and the time of the scene. These two things is the first thing we are going to see in a movie. What is the location? What is the time? Daytime, nighttime, whatever is the time, and what is the location? So that thing has to be in the beginning of a film. I mean, of the script. Okay. So again, another example. Interior, Megan's house, dusk. So you set the lighting and in as how we get the lighting and the dusk. So what Megan is doing, Megan reads a magazine on a couch, bored, she stands, walks into the next shot will be in the kitchen, grabs an apple and heads into her. Next shot is in the bedroom and throws herself into the bed. When I'm reading this, you can almost imagine what this character is doing on the screen. Megan is reading on a magazine on a couch. The camera is showing a couch. Megan is sitting and reading a magazine. She's feeling bored. She throws the magazine, walks into the kitchen. She saw an apple, grabs the apple, heads into the bedroom, moves into the bedroom. On the bedroom, she throws herself onto the bed. Right. So this is how these scene heading or slug lines are mentioned. Next comes action, which is what the character is doing. Okay, this is the action. Megan reads a magazine on the couch. Bored, she stands and walks. This is the action. Grabs an apple and heads into her. This is again an action. What actually the character is doing. Also, action is known as the scene description. Action lines describe character movement in a scene. Okay, but they can also describe anything the audience can see in the screen. Not only what the character is doing, but whatever the audience has to see on the screen. Okay. For example, in screenplay format, action lines are always written in present tense. For example, the science lab is empty. Yossi squats behind a lab station. He grips his knife behind his back. So the science lab is empty. So you are showing a science lab which is empty. There is no people. Okay. So you need to mention that. This character Yossi squats behind a lab station. He is moving behind a lab station and he took a knife behind his back. Okay. So whatever the audience is going to see on the screen, you need to mention it as an action. And this is very, very important that action should never be descriptive. Descriptive means you have to mention whatever the audience will just see. Okay, you don't write that Yossi is feeling afraid. No. Okay, how will you write that Josie is feeling? How will you show on the screen Josie is feeling afraid? That he is squats. Squats means you bend down, right? You sit down on the ground. That is squat. So when he is squatting behind a lab station, he is trying to hiding. He's trying to hide somewhere. It automatically tells that he is feeling afraid, right? So you do not write that Yossi is feeling afraid. He is feeling threatened. How will you show that to the audience that he is feeling threatened? That you have to write as the action on the scene description. Okay, so the crowd, for example, the crowd applauds the pianist. If you are writing the crowd, the people are very happy with the pianist, how will you show that? So you can't write the crowd is very happy with the pianist. Okay, you have to think, how am I going to show this? How am I going to show this that the crowd is very happy with the pianist? The crowd is clapping. The crowd is applauding the pianist. So you write the crowd is clapping on the pianist. So the crowd applauds the pianist. So for example, on here, Megan reads a magazine on the couch, bored. She stands and walks. So she is feeling bored. So what she does, she stands and walks into the kitchen, okay, grabs an apple, heads to her bedroom, and throws herself on the bed. So automatically it shows the cat is feeling bored. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm just lying down. I want to eat an apple, kind of that. So whatever the audience will see and understand about the character, about whatever the story is going on, that kind of description you have to write on the, on the script. Okay, that is a very, very important thing to write in the script, not how the characters are feeling, but when the character is feeling something or when whatever it's happening, how it is going to happen. Okay, that is how you mention it in the action. Character. Okay, the third part is character. All characters should be introduced before their first line of dialogue. Okay, each time a new character is introduced, their names should be written in all caps. Okay, this is how in the script you should write. For example, in the format I have shown here, see, it belongs to Filbert, which is in all caps. Okay, it is written before the dialogue. So the character is told first, is introduced first, then the dialogue. Okay. Any minor characters should be introduced in caps as well, even if they don't have any lines. Okay. Henchman, bartender, angry teacher, because you have to gather all these characters here for the film. You have to show these characters separately on the film. So even if they don't have any dialogue, if I am the casting director in the film, so casting director is people who are in charge of different, who is going to play which character. So I am saying that I need an angry teacher. Okay, the casting director will find a person who will find an actor who is suitable to do this particular job, right? Who can play the angry teacher in the film. Okay, so all these names has to be mentioned in caps as well. So they will be given importance. One exception to this rule is when people are part of an action setting. For example, if you're writing a chase where a car flows down a street full of people, you don't have to write people in all caps as they are not characters, but rather part of the action. So you gather some extra people on the road and you say them, you stand there, I'll give you $10 each, like that. But even if there is one single minor character in the film on which the camera is focusing or they need a 2-minute, 3-minute role in the film, those names has to be mentioned. And of course, the major characters as well. Most characters are introduced with a bit of information about their personality, age, or appearance to help paint a mental image for the reader and guide the casting directors to find an actor who fits in the part, right? So the information can be added in the in one of the two ways. In parentheses of the character's name. So if I'm introducing a character, I have to mention the character's age, how the character looks, what the expression will be, the basic expression, so that when I'm reading the script, I can almost visualize, I can almost paint a mental picture, right? And I can almost see the character, and also the casting director, like I said, the casting director will be able, it will be easier for that person to find a actor who matches the description. So if I'm writing Timmy, age 21, beach blonde hairs, the color of the hair is blonde, eyebrow piercing. I can write like this, or as a part of the action line, Timmy, bracket 21, jumps off his skateboard, wiping his bleach blonde hair out of his eyes to reveal a series of eyebrow piercing. So either you can write the character in like this, or you can write the character like this. So this is giving the description separately. This is making the description part of the action. Got it? So here, Filbert, it belongs to Filbert, age 9, very lost in his own imaginary world, dressed as a knight, a toy sword in his other hand. So you can imagine, you can imagine Filbert. He is aged 9. He looks a little very, he looks very lost in his own world. He's dressed as a knight. There's a toy sword on the other hand, right? Just then, babysitter walks by, Becky, age 23, trendy, distracted, right? So you can again almost imagine how this character is. So she is in a mid phone call with Filbert's mom, Tracy. You don't give a description of Tracy because you are not showing Tracy. She is in a phone call. Got it? So these things you have to keep in your mind. So character descriptions is very important so that again, you can imagine the character when you are reading. Again, one thing, I'm repeating this. Where the script is been given to different people before they start making the film. So it's not that they have started making the film, then they're thinking about the script. The script generally goes to different people who are total, in the group of making the film, generally 1 month or 2 months before they start making it. So they can plan everything that they need, the actors, the locations and everything, the set designs and everything before even they start making the film. Okay. So during that time, reading the script, each of them has to be very, very clear about what kind of actors they need. Okay. If there is a child, what is the age of the child, right? So all these details, they have to find out, these actors, they have to find out, the scene setting, they have to find out. That is why this detailing is very, very important. All right. Next comes the dialogue. Anytime a character speaks, whether out loud or in voiceover, their lines must appear as dialogue. The dialogue should reveal the character's personalities, feelings, and emotional state. Okay. Dialogue writing, we will be doing a separate class. I think more than one classes to actually know how to write a dialogue because it's very important. And in a script, it should be mentioned separately, whether it's you out loud say that's the character is saying out loud, or in voiceover. Voiceover means background, someone is narrating it, or the character is saying it in the background. So on the scene, the character is not speaking, but in the background he is speaking, right? Their lines must appear as a dialogue. In the script, all those should be mentioned. Dialogue is centered on the page, 1 inch from the left margin. This is a format. We will talk about the script format later. The name of the characters who is speaking should always appear in all caps above the line of dialogue. You can again say this. So this one is Filbert, voice over, VO means voice over. Okay. So he himself is thinking, and that's someone is telling in the background. This is my castle. So this dialogue is in the middle of the page. Okay. Next dialogue, Becky into the phone. So it's not a dialogue. I mean, it's not a voiceover. It's speaking. The character is speaking in the scene. Oh yeah, he's being good. He's just fighting orcs or trolls, right? So again, this dialogue reflects, as I said, the dialogue will have to reflect the character's personality, feelings, and emotional state. So this almost reflects that this Filbert's, because Filbert is a, he is a small boy. He thinks himself as a knight. He have a sword in his hand. So what is he thinking? What is he speaking? This is my castle. I am sworn to protect it. Anyone that stands in my way shall bear the wrath of Almighty. Like he's telling this, right? Becky is a 23 years old girl, He's talking with Filbert's mom, Tracy. She's the babysitter. She's telling, oh yeah, he's been good. He's just fighting orcs or trolls. They describe each other, all right? Then Tracy is telling, oh, that's perfectly normal. Okay, because Tracy have already been with Filbert because Filbert is his son, and Tracy said, oh, it's perfectly normal. So dialogue is a very, very essential part, of course. Okay, it's a very, very essential part because you understand what's going on through dialogues. And it has to be clearly mentioned, it has to be clearly thought and told in a way that the character's description fits in it. A dialogue is entered on the page, 1 inch from the left margin. The name of the character who is speaking should always appear in all caps above the line of dialogue. Okay, so here you can see it's above the dialogue, the character's name in all caps. You can add a qualifier next to the character's name if the dialogue is meant to be heard in voiceover, just like it is mentioned here. If it is voiceover, you can write VO, okay? And when a character is present, but they are not seen on the screen, OS for off screen or OC for off camera. For example, Dorothy, this is the voiceover. Today is the day I break up with my boyfriend. So Dorothy, this in the background, it is Dorothy is telling, today is the day I break up with my boyfriend. Or if the character is speaking something, but the camera is not showing the character. So for example, there is a scene where I am speaking and you guys are listening. It's a classroom scene. I am speaking and you guys are listening. So the camera is showing you. The camera is not showing me, right? So in the script, it will be mentioned Anurag, OS or OC means off camera. Okay, I'm behind the camera, I'm speaking. So my voice is only heard, not the camera is not showing me, but my voice is only heard. But I'm in the scene, right? So these kind of things you need to add, right? So again, this is one example. The last thing that every script contains is parentheticals. Parentheticals are brief descriptions of characters' attitude in speech. For example, happily, distracted, engaged, enraged. What the character is feeling while he is talking. These are basically parentheticals. Okay, so John talks. So John has a dialogue. Okay, and he is feeling happy. So you write John, you write in the bracket happily. He tells, oh, I won this, I won today in the school match. Okay, so the character, when he is reading the script, he will know that I have to tell this dialogue in this way. Oh, I have won this match today in the school. If there is an angry, okay, if it is angrily, the character has to say, very angrily. Then again, John and the bracket angrily, and it is written, the dialogue is written. They have kicked me very hard today. You know, they have kicked me very hard today. So the character is speaking like this. Okay. So here it is written, for example, Tia, bracket sarcastic. So you know when you are speaking in sarcastic tone, right? So I'm reading it normally and then I'm reading it sarcastically. Normally it will be right because I love working through the night. This is a normal dialogue. But I have written sarcastic. So Tia is speaking in a sarcastic way. Right, because I love working through the night. Okay, so this is the difference. So you can explain this difference in the script by mentioning parentheticals. I'll give you the example of parentheticals here. John, breathing heavily. So this is the parenthetical here. Okay, so John, character name, when he's starting the dialogue, he's breathing heavily. Hell's bells refers, the traffic is insane. Is it ready? Okay, he's talking like this. Again, Rufus, parenthetical, sarcastically. Here comes the sexiest man in the universe. You know, when you're reading this, you know how this character is going to speak. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. So this contains, the parenthetical contains a little of the acting of the characters. Okay, so once you mention this, it's very, very clear how these characters are behaving. So reading the script again, you are clear about how this character is behaving. John, how can you show that he have ran? John burst into the front door. Hell's bells refers. The traffic is insane. Is it ready? Okay. So this is what parenthetical is. John, you do not write 2 times. Is it ready? Instead, you can write in the brackets, repeating himself. Is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready yet? You know, the character is speaking like this. Okay. So the parenthetical actually mentions how the character is basically speaking in the scene. Okay. So the parentheticals can be placed beneath the character's name or above or between the lines of dialogue to indicate how something is meant to be performed. Okay, how the characters are performing it. A parenthetical can be used to add a pause between 2 lines, okay, indicates singing or shouting, or providing an adjective that indicates such as a tone, right? So this will be the tone of the speaking. Right, because I love working through the night, right? Like that. Okay, so again, parentheticals are very important to show how the character is going to speak or how the character is going to perform. So these 5 things are a must for all the scripts. Scene heading, action lines, characters, dialogue, parentheticals. These are a must for any kind of script or every script you are writing. There are few things which are optional. There are sometimes mentioned, but not always. Shots. Okay, one thing is the camera shots and camera transitions. So shots emphasize camera angle or movement describing camera direction. This is for the most part should be left up to the director. So in the script, the only time mentions of camera movement normally is there if the writer think it's important. So mostly what happens in the script, the script writer writes the script, then the director sits with the script writer and the cameraman, you know, the director of photography, and decides about the camera shot. So because the director of photography or the cameraman is an expert person in his field in handling camera, he will know a lot better than the script writer. Okay, so sometimes it is mentioned the camera shots where the scriptwriter thinks that it is important for the story. Okay, because when it's a part of the story. For example, you can see here Filbert's POV. Okay, so here the scriptwriter has mentioned POV. POV means point of view shot, right? I guess we have learned about camera shots and camera angles, right? I don't remember, but I think we have learned. I don't remember exactly, but if we have not, we will learn. We will learn about camera shots and camera angles. I'll just make sure whether we have learned or not. So in here, it's mentioned these camera shots or camera angles. Here it's mentioned POV because the script writer have actually thought that this is very important for the story. Okay, so sometimes it is mentioned in the script. Similarly, transitions dictates how the story moves on from scene to scene. Okay, here are some examples of such transitions: cut, fade in, fade out, dissolve to. Transitions are another way that writers probably do not want to use much. Okay, sometimes they will use, especially with a script where you might want to save some of the text for words that are once. Okay, so transition sometimes again the directors, the script writers use, sometimes not. Okay, so here you can see cut to. Okay, this is a transition. So first the camera is showing the suburban home, nighttime external shot from outside, right? Cut to second shot, it's a cut shot, goes to a internal exterior shot. Interior shot, right? So sometimes the transitions are mentioned, but sometimes mostly it is not mentioned. All right. So it depends on the script writer, but mostly camera shots and camera angles are not mentioned in the script too much. Okay. Most of this, all the script contains some camera shots or transitions, but not too much, because this is not the job of the script writer. This is particularly the job of the director, or basically mainly the cameraman, to the director of photography, to decide which kind of transition or which kind of camera shot they will use, because they are experts in that subject, right? So even if you're a script writer, you are writing the camera shots or camera angles and transitions and everything, the director might later change. Okay, so they do not write all these things too much. Sometimes it is mentioned. So what should not be included in the screenplay? What are the things that you should not include in a screenplay? Overly elaborate scene description. Okay, too much descriptive, the script never should be. A screenplay is a recipe, not a menu. You know, that means your action lines should describe the events taking place as simply and efficiently as possible. Okay, so I am feeling so happy in the character. For example, give a character name, Mary. Mary is feeling so happy sitting inside his bedroom. She came back to his room after so many days, right? No need to mention this kind of things in a screenplay. Mary is sitting on the bed in her bedroom. She has a very bright expression, happy expression on her face. That's it. Got it. So don't use too much descriptive words, lot of sentences, words to describe a scene. Just write as simply you can, and just write as less as possible. That is just required to make the to show. All right. So overtly elaborate scene description you should not write. Too many parentheticals. Okay. So why you should not write too many parentheticals is, if in every dialogue delivery, you as a script writer, you are writing that this character should feel sarcastic, if the character should say in a happily way, this character should say this one in an angrily way, all this detail, then what's the characters, what the actor will do? Because the actors have their own way of acting and the directors decide how to portray a character. Got it? So unless absolutely necessary, you want a character to speak something in a particular way that is important for the script or the story, you write that as in a parenthetical, but not in every place. Okay, that's the actor's responsibility, and that's mainly a director's job. The director will tell this dialogue in this way, not in that way. Okay, so while you can mention the parentheticals, okay, you can mention all this how the character is speaking, but not in all cases. You can leave that to the actor or the director. Too many transitions, similar to the above, it's largely the editor's job. So there is an editor and he will know after all the shots he has got that what transition is best for which. Sometimes you can write cut short, fade in, fade out, whatever. But ultimately the editor is the main person to do that job. He knows much better than the screenplay writer, the script writer, about transitions. Got it? So because that's his specialty. So he will decide mostly that from one scene to other, how will it transit? How will it change? Okay. So you don't try too much of transitions. Neither you write too much of camera angles. Like I said, camera angles and camera shots and transitions. Camera angles, the director or the DOP or the cinematographer will know much better than you. Got it? Better than a script writer. So while you can mention all these things, parentheticals, transitions, camera angles, not too much. Okay? Because, understand this properly, a film is not a one-man job. It's a job of a lot of people working together as a team. So there should not be any clashes between one person to another, some other person doing some other person's job. A script writer have his or her own part to play, own duty. An editor has his own duty. A cinematographer has his own duty. The director is the king. He looks and he manages and he do everything. So it should not be done in a way that other people are facing problem. Okay, while there are some very important parts where you have to mention the parentheticals, how the character is feeling, right? Then you can mention it as a script writer. You are giving a heads on to the actors or to the director that I want this character to play it like this, right? In other parts, you leave it to the director or the character or the actors to interpret it, to make it, to write it in their own way. So while the script is the backbone of the film, it's the blueprint. Based on the script only, the whole thing is happening. There are things that has to be mentioned, like I mentioned, these 5 things: the scene heading, where it is taking place, what's the location and what's the time, action lines. Action lines are also called scene descriptions. Okay, so what's actually happening in that particular scene. Characters, you give a character description, you mention the age, you mention the personality, sometimes you mention the dress, everything of the characters. Dialogue, what the character is telling directly, okay, or on voiceover, or off scene, or off camera, whatever. And parentheticals, what actually the character is expressing, in what way the character is expressing in the dialogue. The acting part, this is basically a lot into the acting of the character while speaking the dialogue. Got it? So these 5 has to be in a screenplay, wherein there are some things which should not be included too much. Camera angles, not too many transitions, again, too many parentheticals, and too much elaborate scene description. If you are including too much elaborate scene description, this will be almost like a story. It won't be a script. Okay. And the basic thumb rule of script writing is 1 page of script is roughly 1 minute of screen time. Okay. So when we generally write a script in a one A4 sheet of paper, so 1 page of script is roughly 1 minute of screen time. So if a film is 100 minutes, the script is actually 100 to 110 minutes. I mean 100 to 110 pages. Okay. So this is mentioned, and this is important to know or remember, because you should not write too short or in too detail. Okay. Sometimes if you don't know the boundaries, you will be writing it in too detail, which is not necessary. Okay. So and or else you will. So if you just make 2 pages of script for just 1 minute, it will be in too much detail. Or if 1 minute is described in only half a page, it's too short. Okay. So to make the thing in an average way, in a generic way, people have actually fixed up the time. That's 1 minute of script. I mean, 1 page of script is roughly 1 minute of screen time. So average 1 hour of television series is approximately 43 pages, because there are, commercials and everything. So if you are seeing this series, Netflix series or something, the scripts, the total time is 50 minutes or 43 minutes or 48 minutes, like this. So you have 43 pages or 45 pages script. Okay. So this is the overall format of the script that we have studied. So I guess it's a little clear. Script writing, what is actually, we have just had the first class. In the next 3-4 weeks, we will be learning about script only. And I guess it's a little clear for you that what we mean by script or screenplay, and what are the things that we need to express in the screenplay. I don't think we had camera shots or camera angle classes that much, and how it is important for the script. So in the next class, we might study the camera shots and camera angles, and then we will again come back to script, and we will write a lot of script. You have to write a lot of script. I'll give you very short story based on which you will be writing script. Today, it was just an introductory class for this screenplay, and next class we will be doing some exercises. I'll show you how to write a script from a story. Then I will give you some stories, small stories, and you will be writing 4 or 5 pages of script. Knowing the format is very important. Again, I will give you a format, and all of you should follow the format of the script. If anyone is not following the format in the exam or when you are writing for the class exercises, you will not get any marks. So remember the format very, very properly. Remember this particular format of the script very, very properly. I will talk about the format in more details in the next classes. We will talk about camera angle, camera shots also. And I will show you how to write a script from a story. Okay. And then you will be doing some class exercises. Students, till now, it has been a lot of theory because there are a lot of things to teach. Okay. Now, slowly, we will have more practical works. You will have more assignments. You will have not assignments, but you will have more class exercises. Okay. And for scripts writing, you need some A4 sheet paper. So get some A4 sheet paper, or buy some A4 sheet paper. You should write scripts only on A4 sheet paper, not on small notebooks, not on small papers, A4 sheet paper. So all of you should have some A4 sheet papers with you, or you can write in computer. Okay. I'll prefer you write in computer, no problem. Okay. So we will see in the next class. If there is any question, any doubts of whatever we have learned today, you can ask me in both in messages. I will be discussing those in the next class. Okay. I don't know how much time is remaining today. I wanted to send you a small video along with this. So if you have time, you can see that video, or else we will meet in the next class. Okay. So if any question, any doubts, anyone, I'm always available in both in messages. Okay. In the live classes, it's a little difficult to communicate. That is why I'm not coming live classes, but I'm always available in both in messages. In any time, you can ask me the questions. We can discuss, and all I will be discussing them in the video. Okay. So we will see in the next class. Bye, guys.